Hi, hello. We are continuing our list exploration. Uh, we did like 5 or 6 music lists, a couple anime lists, and now we're gonna try out some Western TV shows. Actually, maybe this will contain anime too. That's actually something I'm very curious about. Um, aside from that question, I really don't know what it is going to contain. I'm very disconnected from Western TV as like a total medium. I'm pretty interested in sitcoms. I think I have a decent knowledge of kind of what the critically acclaimed sitcoms are, but it seems like sitcoms in this list are probably going to get trumped by more like dramatic shows and stuff, where I have really no idea. There's just way too much Western TV coming out on all sorts of streaming platforms and still cable networks, and I don't know. I don't even know how anyone thinks they can keep up with it. Something I actually really like about anime is that, it's just this regular season cycle. There's only kind of so many studios and they're making at most so many shows. You get a sense that you can at least be aware of everything that's happening within the medium. Whereas TV, like, my gosh, yes, they're talking about it as the second golden age of television. I've heard that claim quite often, and I think there's something a lot to it. Yeah, yeah, I don't know. We're gonna learn a lot from this list, I think. Um, Created by paste writers and editors through a weighted system. No, stop using this stupid weighted system. Just have a long, tedious discussion and argue a lot and come up with a list that actually could reflect some sort of omniscient taste of the magazine, not just this sort of average. Oh, the other thing I wanted to figure out, which it looks like they're about to address here, is this is something I'm trying to figure out for my own lists as well. Um, when you're considering a decade, should you consider shows that started within that decade, that had any amount of episodes within that decade, perhaps which finished within that decade? So that's something I'm still trying to work out what I should do for my own anime list, and especially the manga list. The manga list is really hard to make, and this question is one of many I have about how I should go about putting it together. Okay. Series had to premiere or air a majority of episodes after January 1st, 2010 and before August 31st, 2019. Okay, that seems quite reasonable to me. Our list contains one exception, 30 Rock, which aired slightly more of its seasons pre-2010, but this list did not feel right without it. Yeah, I actually would have guessed that 30 Rock had finished entirely by 2010, but I guess I don't really know. I love 30 Rock. I hope it's quite high on this list. Now, let's see. Anthologies are considered as a single series with the exception of American Crime Story, which has 2 thematically distinct stories. Reality shows, documentaries, and miniseries are all in contention alongside scripted shows. Any serialized storytelling could make the list. Okay, this is going to be interesting. I don't even know what to start predicting because apparently, 30 Rock a good example, even shows that I love, I only have a vague idea of where they aired. I remember 30 Rock. Oh, yes, I remember there was a 30 Rock episode about the re-election of Barack Obama. So that must have been 2012. Okay. Jeez, but like what? Parenthood? I have no idea what this is. NBC drama that aired from 2010 to 2015. I don't see any reason I would want to watch this. Okay, we'll move on. Silicon Valley. Okay, I watched this show. I like this show. I think it has some difficulties in trying to decide whether it wants to be more of like sort of a psychological thriller, have all of these kind of complex plots and twists and cliffhangers and resolutions, or kind of more down to earth sitcom, mostly just character humor, humorous situations and stuff. And I think it can excel at both of them quite well, but its big stumbling blocks are where you have an episode where the A plot is something to do with like the overall arc of the season and it's quite intense. And then you just have like a B plot where 2 of the characters are kind of just like goofing around or whatever. And it feels like really kind of jarring and it really sort of highlights some aspect of forcedness in the B plot. But overall, I'm quite happy with it. The final season just started yesterday. So I'm looking forward to watching that. Yeah, I think it's quite good. Sure, this is an extremely cheesy line, but sure. What I think is most funny about this show, I met someone who's like a venture capitalist. He's dating a friend of mine, and it was around when one of the season finales of the show was coming up. So my friend was talking to me about it, and he was basically like, "Oh, I can't watch this show. It's like too real. Like that there's kind of a layer of humor that I kind of get as humor, but that he can perceive as like much more specific attacks on like specific aspects of the venture capital institution that just kind of make him uncomfortable. Like that it feels like I don't know that I think I can kind of get it. Like if there is a sitcom about like Smash tournaments that would occasionally have like a very kind of pointed joke that had this hidden layer of like really needling a particular type of player or something. Yeah, it might kind of throw me off and make me think like, oh, I don't know how I feel about this thing being broadcast and commodified and communicated to all these people that don't understand the intricacies and layers of it. I don't know. I don't know. It was interesting to me. Fresh off the boat, I've watched a little bit of this. It seems fun. It seems really quite nice. Just kind of a good-hearted sitcom. I have a problem with like I don't know the shows that focus a lot on kids. I find they really go soft on the kids. The kids aren't really made fun of that much, and often aren't really made into really flawed or deranged characters, which for me is like what is really compelling about a sitcom is just how bizarre the characters kind of I don't know. It just seems like the kids are underdeveloped generally because they don't want to be mean to the kids. And I think this series is better than a lot for that. Like, that they actually kind of attack the kids to some extent. I don't know how to describe this without sounding like a total sociopath. But yeah, I feel like I should watch the rest of this at some point. It seems pretty good. What I'd like to see on this list now is Kim's Convenience, which is a show I absolutely adore um, that I think, perhaps unfairly, I kind of associate these two shows. They started around the same time, both about Asian families. So yeah, we'll see. Eastbound and Down. My dad watched this show. He really liked it. I should watch it at some point. He says it's just really crazy and fun. I've seen some episodes that I just absolutely howled with laughter. So yeah, I don't even know why I haven't watched it yet. Grey's Anatomy, I have no interest in. I don't really like medical shows that much. I watched House as a kid a lot, but in retrospect, it was more just because it was like something that was on. I don't think I had really all that much particular like affinity towards it. Sure, Schitt's Creek. I've heard quite a bit about this show. It's Canadian, I think. There's sure a whole lot of ads for it in Toronto, so I assumed it was Canadian. Uh, well, I don't know. It seems like it's could be a lot of fun. Got Eugene Levy with the crazy eyebrows and stuff. Sure. The bold type. Never heard of this. Everyone should love it. All networks should be doing. Ooh. Cyberbullying, gender double standards, and genetic testing. Is it a comedy? Or is it more of like a drama? If it's a comedy, I think I could really enjoy this. If it's a drama, I don't know. I feel like I should want to like it if it's a drama, but I just don't have the uh, taste shows. I don't know. I'm bad about this. Like I find myself intimidated by the prospect of sitting down and watching something that's going to be more challenging and exhausting than enjoyable. I find when I want that sort of experience, I gravitate towards books, something at my own pace, something that I can kind of immerse myself in other aspects of my environment to kind of offset to support me, i.e., like listening to music or going out and reading someplace really pleasant. Whereas to sit down and watch a dramatic television show is just a little, I don't know, it's just a little too much quite often. And I feel like, yeah, I don't know. Pose, I haven't heard of this. Talking about Vogue. Okay. Okay. Again, this looks like it could be very interesting, but I just don't know if I have the power to watch it. You know, I think, I don't know. I gotta get better about this. I gotta level up. Nathan, for you at 92. What? This is like when they put Have One on Me at like 92 or whatever. This should be a top 5 show. In fact, this could be a top 1 show, I think. I really don't want to say too much about it. I'm gonna look through the blurb just because I feel like they don't get it. But everyone should watch this. Everyone should absolutely watch this. This is just ridiculously. It wasn't totally original TV. Are you kidding me? In what way was this not totally original TV? Yes. Yes. Okay. True. Yes. Okay, well this is a bit of spoilers, so maybe don't read this. If you're the type of person that can not just read things automatically. What? Huh? Wait, what is this talking about? I don't know. It's a fantastic show, though. It's an absolute masterpiece. Portlandia I haven't watched. I think it's like a sketch show. And it's like mostly the same people playing different kind of stereotypes and characters and stuff. I don't know. It doesn't seem that appealing to me. The Nick, my dad watched this. It basically has everything that could be unappealing to me about a show all in one. There was one scene that he went out of his way to show me, despite my repeated protests, where a doctor performed surgery on himself, and it's very graphic and gory. And I will admit, really well done. Like, I ended up watching the rest of that episode, and probably a couple more episodes too, with my dad. And I was very impressed. Like, it's well shot, well acted, well executed, really interesting subject matter, really nicely framed in its time period and setting. But, oh my god, I don't want to see the, like, pre-modern surgery. I don't want to see racial discrimination and then into pre-modern surgery and all sorts of dark and grimy old houses and stuff. It's just none of it appealing to me. None of it appealing to me. Look at this. Nobody wearing gloves. Come on. Even I could figure that one out. Orange is the New Black. I really like this show. I have a hard time watching it though. I really like the comedic aspects, the romantic aspects, kind of the more slice of life type aspects. And I do think the dramatic plots, the more thrilling aspects are really, really well done and very, very compelling. But again, I just have a problem with that level of intensity. So I actually stopped watching it like around season 3 or something because I could just tell like really bad things were coming and I couldn't bear myself to continue. Like I really like the characters of this show. And when some of them are throwing up death flags, it's like, well shit, just get me out of here. I'd like to finish watching it at some point, though. It's really well done. So many of the characters are just such fond memories for me. Oh, this girl. The whole plot of this girl was just so moving. And her. Of course, our MC. And this is the mom of her, right? Or is this one of her other friends? I don't remember. Anyway, it's really good. No, this isn't the mom. I remember what the mom looks like. This is the mom. This is just a friend. Yeah, it's really good. The Yeah, yeah, it's really good. Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. I've heard of this. I have no idea what the heck it's about. It's on the Country Western channel. The name really does make me want to tuning into, yeah. Clever musical comedy. I like Flight of the Conchords. Will that be on this list? Or did that air last decade? I think that aired last decade, because I remember watching it in high school. I think so, yeah. Okay, I don't know. I don't think that's too appealing. Westworld, I've heard a lot about this. Um, I've heard it's just like a really fun, adventurous sci-fi show. I've also heard people talk about how it incorporates kind of a pet theory of mine, which is something I've studied quite a bit that I've read a lot about, mostly because of this Julian Jaynes book, The Origin of The Origin of Consciousness and the Breakdown of the Bicameral Mind, which is just a super fascinating read. Even if you're not convinced of the validity of the theory, I think it's hard to not be really engrossed by it. Just the way he writes, the way he describes things like consciousness are so evocative and feel so accurate, even if the conclusions he draws upon those sensations about how it must have originated, you don't personally buy into. I think most people have a hard time arguing that he doesn't have like just an amazingly complex and accurate understanding of what it is to feel consciousness. I don't know. It's really cool. So the fact that in some capacity, I don't really know how the series like evokes that and kind of plays with those concepts is really interesting to me. I don't know. Yeah, maybe. But like at the same time, I just don't. The aesthetic does like less than nothing for me. Robots and cowboys and stuff. I feel like if someone just wrote a really good essay about like what it was about and what ideas it was pushing, I would much rather read that essay than watch this show. So I don't know. Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. Overall, I quite like this show. I think some of the arcs and characters are a little like underdeveloped. I think it like swung really hard for this like kind of emotional mode of happiness and optimism and stuff, and it mostly hit the mark. But like when you're trying so hard, so sincerely to convey a certain sort of emotional tone and message, whenever you stumble, it feels like a really big stumble. Versus other sitcoms that are more kind of blasé about their overall emotional message and are more just kind of about jokes and situations and characters. Um, but no, I think it's quite nice. Uh, yeah, it's such a silly premise that she was trapped in an underground bunker, kidnapped by a lunatic cult leader, and now she's struggling to fit back into the modern world and super eager to kind of get her life back on track. Yeah, it's quite nice. It's the like, and again, the fact that they tried for this, they tried to make a show that was just sincerely uplifting and about kind of the beauty in everyone. It's very admirable. It's much more difficult than taking a more cynical sitcom route, which is much more prevalent in kind of today. Yeah, I don't know. Never heard of this. Underappreciated by critics, underwatched by audiences, misunderstood by those affecting the focus to remain squarely on a lot of stuff. What? Oh, okay. I thought it was actually going to be about, like, oh, Versace. What? Okay, well, I know who Gianni Versace is. I just, like, assumed I didn't know who this person was, so I didn't even, like, process their name. Oh, whatever. French? Really? I watched some of this, and I thought it was really stupid. I just couldn't get into it. It was just so goofy. Like, so many of the plots just made no sense to me. And I guess that's fine. Like, it's a kind of a sci-fi, silly, over-the-top type show. Like, it's not supposed to be hard sci-fi. Let's really get into these concepts. So it's not like I expected that. I don't know. It just seemed fine. The Expanse, I've never heard of this. Another sci-fi show. Okay. Sure. One Day at a Time. Looks like family drama or a sitcom or something. Comedy. Okay. Ah, okay. Yeah, alright. This sounds nice. I'll put it on the list. It's like something I could actually see myself watching. It looks really family-y though, and again, it's like that leads to kind of coddling. What I liked about Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt is that even though it had this very sincere, optimistic type thing, it didn't coddle any of the characters. The characters like suffer a lot and they're made fun of a lot, and it's even more kind of validating in the end to still be like, and these characters are worthy of love. These characters are worthy of self-actualization and discovering their full worth, even though they have all of these bizarre flaws, even though they do so many things that are contrary to all good thinking. I don't know. But like nobody is treated with kid gloves in this show, whereas here the thumbnail is them gently handling a baby. So I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna land for me the way I'd like it to. I like sitcoms with a bit of cruelty, which again, it's hard to say in a way that doesn't make me sound like a sociopath. Better Things. I have never heard of this. Hmm. Okay. Huh. Yeah, okay. Nice formatting error. Whatever. Sure. I'll put it on the list. Pretty much anything that's like a comedy. And I like this almost experimental line. That's quite intriguing. Black Mirror. I've never watched this. I think I should, though. I feel like there's a lot of things about this show that would really interest me. A lot of the premises of the episodes I've heard, I'm like, ooh, yeah, that could be good. I've heard it's pretty hit and miss, which is fine though. Like you look back at the original Twilight Zone, they weren't all winners, they weren't all classics. It's just that enough of them were really, really good that the show stands up. And I think like when I look back at a show like the Twilight Zone, which of course is much older than me, I'm much more willing to be like, oh, I'll just watch like the good episodes. I'll watch the ones that are regarded as classics. I don't have this compulsion to be like, I'm gonna sit down and watch every single episode in order. Whereas with Black Mirror, I think because it's a modern show and because I have like peers that have just been watching it every season as it comes out, um, it's like I have the compulsion that I should do that as well. But now there's so many episodes out and there's such a kind of a canon of stratification of them. I probably should just go and watch the episodes that interest me. Yeah, not fun watching, mostly horrifying. Hmm. I've said before, I have a hard time watching these difficult shows, but this one seems a bit different because it's also like kind of speculative and premise based. It's not like grow attached to these characters and then you're gonna have like 12 episodes of just hardcore tension trying to figure out are they going to live or die. That's the one that I have a harder time reaching into. Steven Universe, I've heard such excellent things about this show. I should watch it. There's quite a few Cartoon Network shows that I've just been kind of putting off starting because there's so many episodes. They run a big gambit between things like Steven Universe, which I understand is much more like arc based and sometimes dramatic and really emotional. The things like Teen Titans Go, which I've watched quite a bit of, and I really just enjoy it for how absurdist it is and how far they go in just the pure comedy direction. Between those two, there's stuff like Gumball, OKKO, Adventure Time, that I'm all quite interested in, that I've seen bits and pieces of here and there and been quite impressed with. So at some point, I'm going to have to maybe, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm going to say this, put aside anime for a while and focus entirely on Western cartoons and switching from one type of child trapped in an adult's body to another type of child trapped in an adult's body. um, I don't know. Who knows? Who knows when I'll get the time to watch any of these things? Yeah. Detroiters, never heard of this. Looks like it's a comedy. Sincerity, okay. Sounds nice. Yeah. Tone gets dark at times. Tim and Sam occasionally act petty or vindictive. None of the cynicism and mean-spiritedness stuff found. Oh, hmm. Oh, I like this guy, Jason Sudeiki. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Sure, yeah, I don't know. This sounds alright. Put it on the list. Master of None. I watched the first season of this and I quite liked it. I don't know why I didn't watch the second one. It's really nice. It's so skewed from episode to episode. Like the format is totally different. The type of humor changes quite a lot too. It's really impressive how much work they put into each individual episode to make it like its own thing. Some of them are so beautiful. The one where they talk to their parents, both him and another friend of them, has talked to their parents' early experiences, like coming to North America and stuff. It's really fascinating. Like it's really compelling and human. Yeah, it's nice. The Disease Ends already end up getting canceled or not? Does anyone know? It was like up in the air. Is it still airing? I didn't know that. I think Eric Wareheim is really funny on it too. I really like him in general. I wonder if any Tim and Eric shows will be on this list. I kind of doubt it. I doubt the Eric Andre show will be here either. Oh, Happy Endings. Never heard of this. ABC sitcom. Hmm. Sure. Oh, I don't know. It seems fine. I don't know if I care. Okay, moving on. Queen Sugar. Never heard of this either. Hmm. Sounds quite intense. Handmaid's Tale. I read this book a long time ago, like in high school. I feel like this is a really good adaptation of it because everybody's been talking about it. And I hadn't really heard the book talked about all that much, even though it's so painfully relevant in kind of some directions modern society is going. Yeah, sure. Okay, Speechless. I've never heard of this. Charming, insightful, and hilarious comedy. I don't know. I just feel like I've never really liked an ABC sitcom. Something about just the way they're produced, something about the type of audience they're expecting versus an NBC sitcom. I think the big difference is like ABC, I don't know. It's more like NBC goes out of their way to try to be like clever. And this isn't something that I would have thought that I would like. Normally, I'm really against kind of like clever core type stuff, stuff that's just really trying to show off its own intelligence. I find quite weary, like especially in music, like certain rappers. I'm talking about Childish Gambino. Although I'm going to be very disappointed if Atlanta isn't really high up on this list. I've really come around on Donald Glover as a whole, but Childish Gambino I remain an anti-fan of. Anyways, ABC though I think kind of feels too far in the other direction just because it's lacking all of this stuff. The humor is like very much they want everyone watching to be able to appreciate it, and they don't go kind of for niche jokes. I don't know. I don't know. This seems like too much. Blackish. I've heard really good things about this show too. Oh, I didn't know it was on ABC. What the heck? Um, seems like it could be good. I don't know. So many of these things. They're all family things. It seems like ABC really focuses on family things, and NBC seems to focus much more on like workplace type things. Maybe that's really more the big distinction. I just kind of want to see only like adults talking with each other. Whenever there's this kind of like generational humor, it really never seems to land with me. It always feels like somebody's being coddled. Outlander, I have no idea what this is. Okay. All right, sure. Big Mouth, I've heard extremely polarized things about. A few people have told me it's a masterpiece. You should watch it. It's so much fun. It's so heartwarming. You'll come to love yourself more. I've also read some reviews that were extremely negative, and those negative reviews I find like hard to dispute. I guess like if those things are actually in the show, I'm almost positive I'll hate it. It also just looks so ugly. I just can't stand the way it looks, which I know is like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I probably won't watch it. Oh, documentary now. Oh, nice. I've heard a lot of really good things about this. I think it's such a great idea. Just these direct, like separated, powerful. It's got Bill Hader. I love Bill Hader. I hope Barry is really high up on this list. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's fun concept. They get to go in so many different directions with it. Gotta watch it. Glow. This is about wrestling? The Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling? I vaguely remember hearing about this like a long time ago. Like the actual thing. I didn't know there was a show about it. Sure. Yeah, well, that sounds nice. Doctor Who. No picture. I've never been into Doctor Who. I don't know why. I just can't take it seriously. I'm like, I was raised on Star Trek, right? Like my dad loves Star Trek. So I watched a lot of Star Trek growing up. So I have kind of this, I don't know, I need it to be more structured, I guess, more about this long ongoing mission, about this static crew, about adventures they kind of have as a team. Doctor Who, I'm sure it has a lot of the same elements that appeal to me, like deep down, the same appealing factors. But it's just like the premise of it, I have such a hard time getting into. I don't know. Maybe it's just like the camp. Like, to be honest, I haven't really given a serious attempt at watching it since I was a kid, where I was just kind of comparing it to Star Trek and finding it lacking. But that could be because I just really didn't understand the appeal of like the campy elements. Like that's something that I'm sure I've only really kind of grown to appreciate as an adult, the way that camp kind of works. In the flesh, I have no idea what this is. Uh, oh, well, that sounds kind of fun, but meh, I don't know. I've certainly had it with zombies as well. Terriers, I have no idea what this is. Hmm. Huh. Sure. Well, yeah, that sounds kind of fun. I don't know. We'll put it on the list. Never heard of it before. Jane the Virgin. Never heard about this. What? What the heck? Huh. Okay. All right. Well, I don't know. Country Western, huh? Downward Dog. Yeah. See, this is like the quintessential thing that I think ABC would make a sitcom about. A talking dog. Uh, Whereas NBC would have a show about making TV shows where they would make fun of a show like this, i.e., 30 Rock. Yeah, nah, I don't think so. This is the one that's like a parody of the Netflix true crime documentaries, right? Which I haven't really watched any of those, but I know that there's some that are quite high regarded, like Making a Murderer or whatever. So this is like parodying the very thing that their own network made famous. So that's kind of cool. I think that's quite bold. But what I think is kind of I don't know. Don't you think that's a little demeaning maybe to because those are all based on like true stories and stuff. Those other true crime documentaries. Often they have like lots of interviews conducted for that series with victims, with people that are involved in these crimes. And then they're like, oh, my crime documentary is out. You know, this whole story about like my sister that was murdered when I was a kid. And then they see that, and then it's like next door to American Vandal, which is the exact same format. This is what I've heard. It's like the exact same formatting and stuff, but it's about a guy who's drawing dicks on everything. So it's like I don't know. It's very surprising that they did this. It would make much more sense if like another network did this, right? But I guess it's a little more forgivable if it's Netflix doing both. I don't know. Even more compelling than its creators realized. Huh. Well, I don't know. I probably would enjoy this though. It seems like it would be kind of fun. Rick and Morty. Oh, sure, sure. Solid show. I think it's quite a lot of fun. Looking forward to new episodes. BoJack Horseman, I'm sure, will be very, very high on this list. People just love that show. Yeah, it's good. I feel like if it wasn't for the simply unbearable fan base, this would be a little higher on the list, which is unfortunate. Orphan Black. No idea what this is. Sure. Sherlock? Ah, I watched the first season of this and I quite enjoyed it. I really like Martin Freeman. Thank you. I thought it was like well written, it's compelling. Characterization was fun. I think the problem with me is that all the episodes are like an hour and a half long, and it's just like, am I really gonna watch an hour and a half of this? Probably not. So yeah, I'm very very far behind on it. I think I watched like maybe one episode of season two. The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Jeez, I heard something about this. I don't remember what though. Maybe my dad was watching it. I don't know. Hmm. Seems like fun. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I really love this show. I find myself coming back to it quite often just because it's just so reliably funny, and like it's never going to be like, oh, I don't want to see this episode. Like it's just the consistency is really nice. And then sometimes they have some episodes that completely knock it out of the park. Yeah, I'm enjoying the current season. I think it's all right. There's been no episodes so far that just really blew me away, but again, it's remaining solid enough. Yeah. Trem, Trem. I don't know why I haven't watched this yet because I really liked The Wire, and I really liked the one that was set in the Iraq War, uh, Generation Kill. So I probably will really like this too. It's just a little too intimidating. I just haven't been able to bring myself to watch it yet. Just because there's a lot. It just seems like there's a lot going on in it. Like, it kind of sucks because I love The Wire. I'm so glad that I watched The Wire. But I feel like now, if someone told me about The Wire and I hadn't seen it, I'd be like, well, that sounds like a lot. Jeez. Drugs and crime and conspiracy and so many plot lines. Like, oof, I don't know if I can bring myself to watch this. So it sucks because I really, really don't regret watching it. So I don't know, I gotta like motivate myself somehow. Russian Doll, I heard something about this. Hmm. Yeah, okay. Fargo, my dad was watching this. I watched a bit of it with him. It seemed really good. The acting was really good. You got Martin Freeman. Billy Bob Thornton was like really amazing in it. Um, the setting I think is really good. I love the original movie Fargo by the Coens, the Coen brothers. That was a movie that was really, I don't know. I think it was quite influential to me as a kid. Just the kind of balance it had between tension and comedy and horrific elements and thrilling elements really really appealed to me. Really seemed like something I would have thought would be impossible. Yeah, I think again this is a show that I should like, that I should go out of my way to watch, but I just can't bring myself to. I remember when I was watching it with my dad that I realized that this was like the very apex of tension core. That it's just shot in this way and the plot is structured in this way that you're always thinking, oh, anyone could die, anyone could die. You go into every scene thinking that any of the characters within it can die. There's no security anymore. And this is kind of like a revolutionary way of writing television that up until very recently there's no way the main character is going to die. That's the guy that's on the poster. That's the actor that they paid so much money for. Why would they kill him off in like an early episode? I think it was in Deadwood that first really blew my mind with this concept, where a character that I thought was going to be a big deal, that I thought was going to be a major character, is just shot out of nowhere during a poker game, and it's just like so shocking and so thrilling, and it just puts that tension in the air for every scene going forward. And I feel like a lot of shows really are, they use this as a crutch, but they don't actually have a plot that's that interesting. They don't really have characters that are that interesting. They just have this really good sense of tension. And I'm not saying this is Fargo's problem, but I feel like, I don't know, I just almost feel like I'm getting tricked when I'm too caught up in this tension. That it, like potentially nothing could be happening that's actually at all interesting, but they've manipulated me into feeling invested and feeling like I can't look away. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I can bring myself to watch stuff like this. Again, it's like I would rather just read an essay that summarizes the interesting things about it. Looking, I have no idea what this is. Meditative Chronicle of Gay Men in Modern Day San Francisco. Ooh, alright. Hmm. Well, that sounds really nice. I'm gonna put it on the list. I don't know. I can't read what tone it's gonna have. Like, I don't know if it's gonna be more dramatic or more comedic or positive or depressing or what. Yeah, I don't know. Halt and catch fire. That sounds really familiar. Is this like a quote from something? Um. Ah, yes. Halt and catch fire. Yeah, yeah. This is like a joke assembly code. Yeah. Okay. Sure. All right. Sure. That kind of sounds interesting. You know, we're gonna put it on the list just because the subject matter seems interesting. Sounds like probably gonna be too dramatic for me. Don't trust the bee in apartment 23. Don't trust the bitch. It's ABC sitcom. Oh, this is the one with Eric Andre. Oh, yeah. I heard some stuff about this. Hmm. I don't know. Yeah, this sounds like okay. I don't know. I kind of like totally. I forgot about this at all. I knew that Eric Andre was in a sitcom, but I didn't know what it was. And I didn't know really anything about it. I probably learned the name at some point. Okay. Well, maybe we'll check it out. Next page. Killing Eve. My dad has been watching this. He really likes it. I watched one episode with him. I thought it was okay. It was very compellingly shot and interesting. It had a little too much like gory, like whoa, the assassinator did that type stuff, which like, I don't care. I really like Sandra Oh though. I thought she was great in it. I was kind of interested to see where the plot was going, but I just felt like every episode was going to be punctuated with these kill scenes. Whoa, she took out him from there. It's like I don't care. Like, why can't she just be like I don't know, like a weird reclusive poet that everyone's searching for? Wouldn't that be nice? Like a Bonello novel. It doesn't have to be all this killing all the time, okay? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Seems like it's fun though. If it's fun for the people who are having fun, so that's nice. The main problem though is that it's just too short. But it's still airing, isn't it? I'm pretty sure my dad is like watching the current season right now, so I don't know what they're talking about there. Happy Valley. What the heck could this be? Whoa. Okay. Jeez. Okay, well I don't need to worry about all of that. Oh, this is another Western animated show I'd really like to watch. I've heard it's like very surreal, very charming, likable characters. Yeah. No, I really should watch this. Lots of things I would like about it. So far we've had zero anime, I just want to point out. This is the second animated Western show, but zero anime. I wonder if this will hold true. If there is anime, I don't know what the heck is going to be on it. Like, Violet Evergarden, maybe? I don't know. I don't know. Ah, Broad City! I was kind of thinking about this when we were looking at the one with Eric Andre. I was like, both Eric Andre and Hannibal both had sitcoms this decade that were like much more normal than their efforts on the Eric Andre show, of course. But I love this show. I really love this show. Very very nice sitcom. I feel like I haven't finished watching the final season, so I should get on that. Like I don't remember how it ends, so probably I just haven't seen it. Yeah, it's really really nice. Uh, it's I don't know. It's their friendship is just so nice and relatable and compelling. Their adventures get this wonderful kind of cinematic feel where things are always like escalating and building, and there's these wonderful plot threads and stuff. Like just a really high effort written show, you know. The actual type of humor I find quite fun. Doesn't always land with me, but like I can always appreciate like the fact that they're reaching for a particular audience, an audience that I feel um, deserves to have great comedies like this. Yeah, a lovely show. There's another David Simon show I haven't watched. I think it's a David Simon show. Maybe it's a Sopranos guy show. Terrence Winter. I guess it's not David Simon. David Simon is Wire guy. This might be Sopranos guy. Or maybe he's just Boardwalk Empires guy. No. He's Sopranos guy. I haven't watched The Sopranos either. A friend of mine is watching it right now and says it's much better than he expected, even though he went in with pretty high expectations, and much more like weird and interesting and sometimes surreal with like dream sequences and other stuff that he had no idea would be in there, and neither did I. So I'm much more interested in seeing it now, kind of from his review. And same with Boardwalk Empire. Now I'm more interested in that as well. I actually learned a little more about like the premise of this series, like just reading the historical articles about the people on which this is based, like the organized crime people and stuff. It's really, really interesting the way organized crime was done back then. Like it was all done in the shadows, but with a certain flair to it. Like they actually would have these big, like cross America gangster meetups at these really lavish hotels and stuff, and just everything very slightly behind closed doors with lots of police officers looking the other way and stuff. And then it would lead to, of course, these huge conflicts, which would be like a fight at this dinner party that then has the ramification of a gigantic state to state war with all of these insanely colorful personalities. So it's like, wow, this sounds super compelling. And I almost wanted to stop reading about it because I'm like, oh, this is what Boardwalk Empire is about. I should just watch that show instead. So I don't know. I don't know. It's like an aspect of American history that I think is, I don't want to say cool because they were doing some really awful things, the crime families and stuff. But come on, that is cool. That there actually were godfathers, that there actually were these secret cadres and stuff. Like, I don't know. Penny Dreadful, I have no idea what this is. Fanficky gothic horror series of all time. Okay. Victorian London, no. No, I don't see any reason to watch this. Community, okay. I like it. I think the first few seasons are very, very solid. Almost every episode, great. Later seasons, everything starts getting a lot stretched, a lot more threadbare. They start replacing characters. None of the new characters ever really sit that well with me. And it's like, this is, I think, the essential NBC type show when I'm talking about trying to show off a cleverness, and that's Dan Harmon as well in a nutshell, that he wants something that's like appreciated on just the level of its sophistication and complexity, how well it works, just as much as you want something that's actually funny. And I don't know, like I like that to some extent. There's like a certain line, I guess, where it crosses where I'm like, well, now you're just being like smarmy. Now you're just like showing off, that it doesn't do so much for me. And a lot of like the fourth wall type stuff in the show I found kind of more tedious, but it was nice. I don't know. I guess overall it was nice. I don't know. I just wish it was like very just content to be a good wacky sitcom that has these very surreal elements and these big structural changes without pointing out again and again, look at how bold we are. Look at how major a structural departure this is. Like you didn't see this coming. An emotional arc with one of the characters, and it's like there's been sitcoms that have done all of these things and more. Maybe not to the extremes that this show has with some of the structural things, but you don't have to bathe in your own farts about it. I don't know, but I still do like it. Like I don't know. I don't know. This show I've heard is really good. The same friend that's watching The Sopranos and really enjoying it has recommended this to me many, many times before. But I think I'd probably like it. It sounds really interesting in terms of premise. And I really have no idea what to expect from like the tone and stuff, which intrigues me. The idea of kind of like knowing a premise, knowing that the show will play out kind of in a certain plot, but not knowing at all how that will be conveyed is quite interesting. But then there's only a few ways that it could be conveyed that I'm actually going to enjoy probably. So, oh, Man-Seeking Woman, interesting. There's my boy Eric Andre again. I quite like this show. I watched all of it. So it's like kind of almost a sketch. It's like a surrealist comedy series. I guess you'd say that. So it takes normal dating situations, yeah, and then it morphs them into extreme exaggerations. So like a situation where he's like crushing on this girl, but this girl already has a boyfriend. The standard writing route of that is, oh no, the boyfriend is like so perfect. Like, how am I going to deal with this? But in here, the boyfriend is literally Jesus Christ. or in one where they have to go to a destination wedding, and it's like, oh, that's always so hellish. It literally takes place in hell. And they really have a lot of fun with this, like these kind of supernatural elements. They really play up. Lots of really good set designs, fun special effects, stuff like that. And then, of course, the kind of recurring joke is that this is all treated as somewhat normal by the actual main cast. But yeah, it has like a nice heart to it as well. Sometimes it got, oh, the woman seeking man episodes, oh my gosh, are so bleak, so moving. Yeah, I don't know. I guess in retrospect, I am quite impressed with this series. It's just kind of like watching it week by week. I was just sort of like each week it was just kind of like, oh, okay, all right, it's this. Oh, okay, it's this joke. And then it's more like looking back at it as a whole and realizing that it contained like all of those things. It's like, yeah, I don't know. I think the other thing that didn't land with me so much is that the idea is that it's supposed to be like, oh, relatable thing, exaggerated to kind of what you build it up in your head. But I can't relate to those things. And so I have this other step of like, oh, I guess if I was in this situation, I would have built up this like neurotic exaggeration. But I personally didn't build up that neurotic exaggeration. So I can't really, it's not as direct, it's not as compelling because of that. Counterpart, no idea what this is. What? What? Oh, J.K. Simmons. He's an amazing actor. All right, sure. Oh, whoa! I am surprised to see this on here. Very happily surprised to see this on here. This show is absolutely insane. Um, yeah, holy crap. It's so insane. It's actually so insane. Now to me, the show is great and all, but like Nathan for You is like strictly superior. Like Nathan's for You is like a superset of all the qualities I appreciate about this show and has a whole other dimension of reality to it. Whereas this is just very well written and very entertaining and sometimes just so despairing. Oh gosh. Oh, I love it so much. Yeah, you should check it out. Don't read anything more about it. Just start watching it. It'll hook you quite quickly, I think. Man. Whoa. Whoa. Wow. Mozart in the Jungle. I have never heard of this. Whoa. Whoa. It's just sincerely about Mozart. What? It's not like a metaphor or something. Wait, no, it's not. I'm an idiot. I was just skimming. I was skimming too hard. Hmm. Okay. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'll put it on the list. The subject matter is really interesting to me. Even though I, like, misunderstood the subject matter like 3 or 4 times. Huh. Okay. Sure. The Good Fight. I have never heard of this. The Good Wife. I haven't watched that either. Hmm. The Night Manager. Oh, my dad watched this. It's got Hugh Laurie in it. He said it was good. Sure. I don't know. It's like too much. Downton Abbey, I could not even give slightly less of a shit. It's just not at all what I care to watch at all. Legends of Tomorrow, I haven't heard of this. CW again. I can't imagine I'll like this. Oh, well, that sounds kind of fun. Hmm. Oh, I don't know. Okay, we'll put it on the list. I don't know. It sounds interesting. Veep. I tried watching this once. I got like maybe 3 or 4 episodes in, but I didn't really hook me. The funny parts were funny. The characters were good. I really like Julia Louis-Dreyfus. I really like Tony Hale. But it was more like the scenes where they were like taking itself seriously and they were doing like a lot of like politics type talk and they were being like there was like actually problems and solutions and stuff being discussed. And sure, there was like joking banter within that, but it wasn't just like I don't care, but like I'm actually a little upset that you would like think I would care about this, about all of these like fake politics that you've come up with for the show. That sort of thing just doesn't really land well with me. I'm not sure why. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll give it another try. It feels like something that I could get kind of more into if I watched like a whole season of it or something. So didn't really give it a fair shake. There's BoJack Horseman. I thought this might even be even higher. I'm so curious now. What's going to be like top 10? 30 Rock, I hope, is top 10. What other shows haven't we seen yet? Barry? Was Breaking Bad this decade or last decade? I don't even know. Better Call Saul was, I'm almost certain, this decade. Seems very well regarded. Yeah, I like BoJack Horseman. Really? What? What? People just never ever shut up about this show. Is this like a joke? Is this like ironic? I feel like people have literally never shut up about this show since it started airing. And I mean, I think it's really great. Don't get me wrong. I'm a big fan of it. But it's underrated, really? Yeah, I don't know. I think it's quite good. I have a lot to say about it, actually. We'll probably talk about it quite a bit in some other video. I don't know. I'm watching the 6th season now. I watched the first episode yesterday. Seems good. I don't know. I don't know. Really? What? I guess it's just that I hear a lot from this strong cult following. But, meh. Meh. What? This is like a Muppets thing. Jim Henson thing, right? I don't know anything about it. Huh. Okay. Huh. Okay. All right. Sure. Oh, Game of Thrones, I guess, is going to be like top 10 or something. Okay. All right. Succession. What is this? Ooh, acid comedy. So psychedelic, huh? No, I'm just kidding. Not in the right panic room. Sure. Put it on the list. Twin Peaks. Okay. Big embarrassment time. I haven't watched this yet. What I wanted was to re-watch the original Twin Peaks because it had been quite a long time since I'd seen it, and I felt like I forgot a lot of plot elements that would help me better appreciate this one. But then I just haven't gone back and rewatched it either because I have this whole complex about watching things that aren't just Malay Blob anime. So I don't know. Who knows when I'll get to watch this, but it hasn't happened yet. Last Week Tonight with John Oliver. Sure. I mean, okay. I like John Oliver. I think he's funny. I like most of the. I like most of one aspect of most of his takes. I guess that's the most generous thing I can say. It's like we dislike the same thing, but our proposed solutions to it are extremely different. And then other times, I think he's disliking the entirely wrong part of something. And then, of course, his solution is to increase the part I dislike. And then I get even more upset. Basically, he's a lib, dirty lib, and I'm a hardcore leftist. And you might think, aren't those the same thing? Maybe. I hope that nobody still thinks that. But in fact, I find myself much more aggravated by neoliberals who can often diagnose what I think are the problems of the world, but then completely fail to realize that it's their policies that have been creating these problems for the last 40 plus years. So, I don't know. Watching these shows is quite frustrating to me. If only there was just a segment of, like, I don't know, just like a very small subset of all of his segments, I think I would really enjoy. I think it's doing public good, though. I will say that. Like, there's some episodes that I unequivocally agree with, where he goes after certain shared enemies I have with the libs in a way that I find is quite compelling and scathing and probably does a lot to educate people and rouse them up on these issues. But, yeah, I don't know. Key and Peele, I haven't watched enough of this. I've just seen random skits online and stuff, but it's really good. So, yeah, I should watch all of it. I should just sit down and watch it. Yeah. Yeah. Hannibal. What? Oh. So it's like the same as the movies, but it's they've done this a few times. But I guess this is the same thing with Fargo, right? They take a movie and then they kind of like stretch it out. They add side stories. They kind of retain the aesthetic and the feel, but oh, I don't know. There's no way I'm gonna watch this. I don't want to watch somebody eating people. No. My Mad Fat Diary. I have no idea what this is. It's British, sure. Sure. Huh. Well, this sounds kind of interesting. All right. Well, we'll put it on the list. I like British television generally quite a bit. It seems a little less overdone than American TV, a little more like, I don't know how to describe it. I don't know. We'll just move on. All right, I think we're in the final segment now. When they see us, oh gosh. Okay, this is a little too much. Ah, yes, the Central Park Five. I learned about this in the context of Donald Trump taking out a full-page newspaper ad that said, "Bring back the death penalty, kill the Central Park Five," blah, blah, blah. And of course they were found innocent. Yeah, it's, yeah, this is heavy, okay. Catastrophe. Whoa, funniest comedies. Achingly honest show about marriage. Parenting. Daily slog of raising a family. Particularly when our children are young. Its greatest gift is dark, dark humor. Often treated as an accessory or a character trait. That is beloved tiny humans who have an enormous impact on your life. I don't know. Oh, this thumbnail's not doing anything for me. I'm not even gonna put it on the list. Better Call Saul. I started watching this. I thought it was well done. It was compelling. It was often funny. I really liked Bob Odenkirk as an actor, as this character. I liked Breaking Bad. It was one of the few shows that broke through my complex about watching shows like Breaking Bad. So I don't know. I don't know why. Actually I know exactly why I stopped watching it. It was because the entire focus of the show for a while became an investigation of a nursing home, and I just was so bored. Like I just could not get myself that invested in this plot line. And I knew like that there was building to something, that there was going to be some twists, and that there was going to be some character development and stuff. Like just seeing the difference between Saul as a character on this show and Saul as a character in Breaking Bad, like that's compelling. You want to know, how did he slip so far? But I just couldn't do it. I'll try again sometime, I guess. Chernobyl, oh boy. So I've heard a lot about this show from very politicized sources, basically trying to tease out what is the kind of moral thrust of this show when it pertains to the USSR. What is it saying about nuclear energy? What is it saying about Soviet-style socialism? What is it saying about socialism and communism in general? What is it saying about the role that like scientists and nuclear engineers have in public safety? What role does the public have in this discourse around their own safety? Blah 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 blah. I don't know. I guess I don't really have any sort of take on this because I haven't seen it myself, and I've read such wildly contradictory things about all of those categories. But it's like there's certain overall messages that this show could espouse that I would take personal offense to. Specifically, things that demonize nuclear power. I think we have to be very suspicious of. We have to be very suspicious of who's pushing this narrative that nuclear power is like this gigantic boogeyman that's going to mutate you in the night. Devastatingly realistic. That's not what I've heard. I've heard that it's quite sensationalized, which I'm not strictly against, but it's like sensationalization to what end? I don't know. Gives Lars von Trier. I don't know. Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I watched all of this. I'm looking forward to continuing watching it. I quite enjoy it, although I have some beefs. I think this lionization of cops, generally not a good thing. But this show, I will admit, will occasionally kind of take some more woke pot shots at the real kind of political police institution. The state of jails was mocked quite a lot. But it's kind of that sort of lampshading type humor where they're like, haha, isn't this awful? But it's not actually like addressed. It isn't actually like brought to any sort of satisfying conclusion. It's just sort of acknowledged as sort of a way to like laugh about it without changing it. So that bugs me. I think a lot of the writing is quite lazy. I think this is like too sitcom-y of a sitcom where often like the A and B plots aren't connected at all. And there's even situations where the A and B plots end up in an impossible chronology where like they'll cut between several days progressing in the A plot and the course of one day in a B plot. And that just bugs me. It's such a far cry from what I think of as truly excellent sitcom writing. Things like Seinfeld, where all of the plots intermesh, or at the very least, all of the characters come together and discuss what's happening, to banter about it, to kind of highlight story elements in each plot line. Instead, it's just the characters split into groups, and then each group just does its own thing for the entire episode. It just seems kind of lazy to me. Despite that, you know, the character writing I think is great. Andy Samberg, I have a real soft spot for. Maybe just because of the whole Joanna Newsom marriage thing, but whatever. It's led to good results. I think when it tries to be sentimental and touching, it succeeds. Andrew Brower, of course. Isn't it Andre Brower? Hey, hold on. Isn't it Andre Brower? Yeah. What the fuck? What is this typo? What? Paste Magazine, what are you doing? You would think Paste Magazine would just literally paste his name. Gosh. Yeah, this is a brilliant actor. Yeah, I think overall I feel quite positive about it, but those negative aspects are just very irritating, I guess. Yeah, it is consistent though. It's another show that I'll just put on as background noise very often because I know every episode is going to be of some quality. Yeah, it's good. Stranger Things, I've never watched this. The aesthetic just really doesn't appeal to me. An unabashed celebration of the 80s. Okay, I never lived in the 80s. I was 2 years away from the end of the 80s. And the 90s I don't even really feel all that fond for either. So I don't know. I just can't care. Justified, I have no idea what this is. What? I still don't know what this is. Yeah, I just don't know what it is. This show, I'd like to watch more of. I watched like, I think like 3 seasons with someone I was seeing, and then we broke up. And then I was like, well, I guess I'll just stop watching this. It wasn't that I was like traumatized. It wasn't like, oh, I can't watch it. I'll just cry. But I don't know. I just didn't keep watching it after we broke up. So it was my own fault. I was enjoying it a lot. I think it's very clever, very fun. I love H. John Benjamin so much. So I have every reason to like it, keep watching it. Just haven't. I guess I should. They seem to like it. This is the only adult Western animated show on the list so far. The other two were like more kid focused. Sure. The Crown. I started watching this with my mom and my grandma because my grandma is quite interested in the royal family. She's followed them since she was a kid. And it seemed really well done. So I was impressed with the amount I saw. It's just like I haven't had many opportunities to watch it because I'm watching it with the two of them. So yeah, I don't know. Probably worth watching. And it has Olivia Colman. There we go. Oh, baby. Oh, I love Olivia Colman. So she was in Peep Show, which I don't know if Peep Show will appear on this list because it's not the majority of its seasons in this run since 2018. Or 2010. But yeah, she plays a major character on Peep Show, and I think she's just phenomenal. And I'm so happy that All of her royal acting has brought her a lot of acclaim, and she won an Oscar, a Golden Globe, and a BAFTA. My gosh, good for him. Good for him. Yeah, good for him. What? Good for her. What the hell? What? Am I having a stroke or something? I feel like I've been misspeaking a lot today. Well, whatever. Yeah, great show. Great show. Game of Thrones, I do not give even a little bit of a shit. Yeah, this I've heard is really good. I'm kind of curious. It's like something everyone knows about, and probably they know like some details of the case. Glove doesn't fit, you must acquit. The escape, the slow motion chase with the helicopter cameras, the Furman, the neo-Nazi police officer, all of this stuff that gets parodied a lot in pop culture, people seem quite familiar with. But it's like if you actually look at all those elements and try to like construct this as something that actually happened and think of all the other like requisite details and complications that would have gone along with that, you very quickly realize like, oh, I actually don't know anything about this case. So I feel like this gives you a good, oh, it's David Schwimmer. I was about to be like, oh, is that David Schwimmer? It's David Schwimmer. Is that John Travolta? Is that John Travolta? I don't know. Yeah, I think this could be really good. Maybe I should watch it. The Good Wife. They talked about this a lot before. Uh, hmm. Oh, I don't know. I don't think I could like this. Hmm. Sure. Rectify. Never heard of this. Sure. Sounds... Oh, there we go. Humor. First word that's appealed to me. Hey, it's Barry! Oh, I love Barry. We talked about Barry at some length in another video. I watched the second season since then. Even more impressed. I don't think it's perfect. I have little quibbles with a whole lot of the show. But it's like the very fact that I'm trying to quibble on that level is just proof that on every other level, it's just been blowing me away. Yeah, I can't wait for more of this show. I really, really can't wait for more of this show. Yeah, Bill Hader in this role is just so compelling and fascinating. Like, I just never have encountered a character like this before. Hey, there's 30 Rock, almost in the top 10. Maybe my favorite kind of sitcom of this category. Kind of like a, I don't know if I call this like a mainstream sitcom. It's a little too like weird and experimental, but it's a lot more mainstream than most of the sitcoms I like this much. It's just so wonderful. I love, oh, what? Okay, I don't know about that, but sure. Oh, it's so great. Werewolf Bar Mitzvah. Oh man. Okay, so the Werewolf Bar Mitzvah thing, people reference it a lot because it's really hilarious. So basically, within this show, Tracy Morgan, one of the major characters, mentions how he was in like this music video called Werewolf Bar Mitzvah that was to be played at bar mitzvahs, and they show clips of it. You can probably see those clips online. Oh, this is the full song. The song was actually written by Donald Glover, who is a writer on this show. Even though I've said that I'm not the hugest fan of his musical talents, his musical writing for shows like this. Man. Boys becoming men becoming wolves. So basically, they have these shots. I wish I could find the actual footage from the TV show. This is some weird, like, extended thing. Here we go.
Oh, check this out.
So it cuts to it here, starting at 10 seconds. Boys becoming men. Men becoming wolves. And then 7 seconds later, we cut back. And then I think later it shows, like, another few seconds of it. But it's about 10 seconds total. Okay? But all of the costuming and the set design and the extras and the choreography and the lyrics and the songwriting and stuff cost the show like tens of thousands of dollars. All for this 10-second gag, which, like, they already had a joke. Just him saying, oh, I did Werewolf Bar Mitzvah. That's already funny, and it already conveys what you want about the character and kind of progresses with the setup. I think he's like going through his memorability and like talking about his career. Um, but they still put in all that effort just to like extend the joke a little bit, just so they can have this boys becoming men becoming wolves. Like it's mind-boggling the effort they put into this show. Just all these little things. It reminds me of some of my favorite things about anime. Just how far they'll go in some direction that you didn't even think the show was capable of moving in. Just for like one little thing. Just for one tiny thing that they can't even expect will appeal to the entirety or the majority of the crowd. Ooh, I just love it. It's no other show is that wonderful in this regard. Oh man. I don't know. Yeah, I guess that's true. But it is fantastic. Oh, nice. I really love this show. I haven't like sat down and just watched all of it, but I'll watch it, with my grandma, with my mom. It's on TV. It's just really lovely, really relaxing. Such blissful, compassionate television. You can tell that it's significant that this is the only reality competition style show to make this list, right? There's something different about it. There's something very special about it. There's no forced drama, there's no forced rivalries. They're not trying to make it seem like this is some life or death struggle with the dun 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 music and everyone going, I have 13 orphan children that I take care of at home and they will all starve if I don't win this prize money. No, it's just people who love baking, that are good at baking, that want to share their baking with the world. It's really, really lovely. Yeah. I'd like to see more of it. Oh, Parks and Rec. Oh, well, that is nice. I really love this show, too. Sitcoms are doing pretty well on this list. 30 Rock, Parks and Rec. I assume Atlanta will be even higher. Not that that's really a sitcom, but it hits the same sort of appeal to me. Ah, yes. Oh, so lovely. Yeah. Yeah. I can't say enough good things about this show. I find it's a little harder to revisit though, because I find the episodes aren't so memorable. I think that's what's appealing about Brooklyn Nine-Nine or It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia as shows to just kind of put on as background noise, is that very quickly I can be like, oh, it's this one. And I can kind of like anticipate some of the jokes and humor and scenes that I kind of want to watch while I'm like doing the dishes or whatever. Whereas Parks and Rec, I don't know, like there's kind of overall arcs I can remember, and I can remember like the overall plot of the show and some kind of particular episodes. But a lot of episodes it'll start and I'm like, okay, what is this one? Do I want to watch this one? So what I don't know if I've explained this before. I made a gigantic playlist that I call the sitcom channel that just has every episode of a bunch of sitcoms I like. And then I'll just put that on shuffle and have that as like background noise. So often I find myself like skipping Parks and Rec's episodes because I'm like, oh, when is this one again? Whatever. Whereas like any episode of Seinfeld, any episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, it's more of like oh, it's this one. Yeah, okay, I'll leave this one. It's just that kind of difference. But I think in terms of like sitting down and watching like a season of a show, or watching something as it airs and kind of being caught up in the plot, Parks and Rec is one of my all-time favorite sitcom experiences. It's just so nice. It's just so lovely. And again, it's like kind and passionate and optimistic, without losing that kind of cruel edge, without really making fun of the characters, like without, and by sorry, without. I said without really making fun of the characters, as if they don't really make fun of the characters. All right, whatever. They really make fun of the characters. That's what I'm saying. There's Atlanta. I love Atlanta. Masterpiece show. Can't wait for more. Yeah. The slice of life aspect of it, I think, is really, really brought out well. And then again, just the shift from episode to episode, that some episodes will be totally different than that. And yet you still see how they're situated within the same Atlanta. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The Good Place. Oh, of course. Oh, I love the show too. Sitcoms, man. Sitcoms out here. This is the same creators, I'm pretty sure. Parks and Rec and The Good Place. Yeah, Michael Schur. Fantastic show. I don't want to say like anything about it. If you haven't seen it, and the idea of very experimental, very compelling, narrative-driven sitcoms appeal to you, just go and watch it, and don't learn anything else about it because the twists and turns in the show are just masterful. The last season is starting now. I think it's about 5 episodes in. I have been very, very happy with it so far. Very excited to see where we'll go from here. Adventure Time, sure. Again, another Western cartoon that I haven't watched, that I'd really like to watch. Yeah, it's long though. It's gonna be an adventure, that's for sure. What the heck? Fleabag. I have never ever heard of this. Stunning comedy achievements. The fourth wall breaking UK series. Creating star Phoebe Waller-Bridge. Sharp, clever, devastatingly emotional. Whoa! Okay, I'm putting this on the list. This sounds great. I had never heard of this one. Oh, well, that sounds like big spoilers, so we'll just try to scroll through that. I've seen some of this. I really like it. I like animals. I like watching animals and stuff. I don't know why I haven't just watched the whole thing. It seems really nice. And they have Radiohead in the soundtrack, so 10 out of 10 right there. Ah, The Americans. This is like all about Russian spies and stuff. It's like a thriller. Yeah. They're undercover KGB agents. I don't know. I can see this being quite good. You know what I'll do? I'll get my dad to watch it. I'll get my dad to watch it and see if he really, really likes it, and if it's worth me getting over my intense, serious show complex. Sure, Mad Men. This never really appealed to me. I don't know. It's just the aesthetic doesn't do much for me. The premise doesn't do much for me. Apparently, it's really good. What can we say? Okay, what's left? What will be number one? Jeez. I have no idea. Breaking Bad? If Breaking Bad qualifies, I bet it'll be number one. I don't know if it will or not. What else haven't we seen? It's probably something I just literally haven't seen. Possibly even something I haven't heard of. I have no idea. What's on TV? What do people watch? Basketball? Is it basketball? What do people watch? What are people talking about? What? I don't know. I guess we'll just see. Oh, okay. It's Breaking Bad. All right. I didn't know. I have no idea when Breaking Bad aired. 2008 to 2013. Okay. I guess I should have figured that out because I can kind of remember when I watched the end of it, how old I was. So, but whatever. Yeah, I like this show. I was very, very impressed with it. It has nothing to like appeal to me specifically, so it's like it kind of proves that it's good because even despite having no real interest in it on any level, I was still so compelled by it. I still cared so much about it. There's still scenes and sequences I think back to just because they were so well done, and it's like I'm still like trying to figure out how they made it just like hit so hard so perfectly, you know? Yeah. No, it's quite a masterpiece. Definitely very tension core though. Like I think this is another show where I really started to realize that kind of trick. Um, but I mean, quite groundbreaking in that regard, right? Like one of the earlier shows that I think kind of operated in that mode. Yeah. Who cares if the first season DVD takes calls it a dramedy? Yeah, it's definitely not a dramedy. I don't know who is laughing. Yeesh. Yeah. Okay. That's the list. We can look at this category. This I might read. A little curious. This I don't really have any interest in. This I don't really know anything about, so it would be kind of interesting, but I don't think I'd have too much to say about it. This I'm kind of curious about too. I mean, I read a lot, but mostly I don't read new books. I'm still kind of going through old books. There's a lot of those. So I don't really have that strong opinions about something like this. This is one we're definitely going to take a look at. I really, I don't know. I don't know what to expect from this either. Probably a whole lot of disagreement. We just did this one. Magazines of the deck. Oh, this is 2000 to 2009. Where are the album lists and stuff? That's kind of weird. We already read the album list, so why is that not here? I don't know. Anyways, that was fun. I found out about some TV shows that I'm kind of curious about. Maybe I'll make a list of Western TV. As I was reading that, I was like, yeah, I know a lot of these shows. I watched quite a lot of shows. I could put together a list. The amount of things I just hadn't heard of at all was actually a lot lower than I thought. No anime. Maybe anime will be a separate list. I don't know. I mean, that's what I'm doing. If I end up making a Western TV list, it's just going to be separate from the anime list. So that's fair, I guess. All right. Yeah. Let me know. Which one should I do next? I'm thinking probably video games. Maybe this. Do you want to see these other ones? I don't really have anything to offer for like this. Like, I don't. I know Dave Chappelle. People like him. I know Bob Galifianakis and Bo Burnham or something. I don't know. Okay. Well, that's all for now.